In this video, we're going to learn how to make poached eggs and shrimp on a bed of mushroom spinach grits with a little bit of mole sauce to top it off. And we're going to make all that like a boss. All right, for those of us who've never made mole sauce, I kind of cheat a little bit. I use the Goya paste. The ratio is 1 to 3. 1 part paste to 3 parts water. But what it does is it's a unique flavor that is sweet and savory. And that is kind of the consistency. So we'll put this aside. Here's the stuff that's been done off camera so far. I diced mushrooms. I chopped baby spinach. That goes into the polenta. I've already mixed some mole sauce, and I'll show you how to do that on a side. And so now we're going to start the polenta. All right, for those of us who have never cooked grits before, the ratio of liquid to grits is 3 to 1. You don't have to use water necessarily, although I'm using water today. You can also use a broth or a stock to add flavor to it. So we get 3 cups of, in this case, water to a boil. Add the grits, stir, and then reduce to a simmer. And you're going to want to simmer it for about 5 minutes. And we're going to want to stir it occasionally so that the corn on the grits on the bottom of the pot doesn't burn. And this takes about 5 minutes or so. Okay, that's 5 minutes. I'm going to take it off the heat and one last stir. Yeah, perfect. And this is the consistency you're looking for. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of butter right there in the middle. Cover it. Well, actually, you know what? Before I cover it, I know I'm going to add a little bit. It's going to need a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to cover it off the heat and just let it rest for a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and start sauteing the spinach and the mushrooms. Spinach first. We're going to add a little duck fat. And in a previous video, I was asked, where do you find duck fat? Well, most supermarkets already carry it, or at least high-end supermarkets do. If you can't find it, simply get with your butcher, make the request. They'll have it for you. Oops. Or they'll order it for you at least. 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, back. In goes the duck fat. Whenever you add fat to a pan, you want to make sure that it's an already warmed pan. Even if you're going to sweat whatever your aromatics, you put it in a warm pan, put your fat in. If you're going to sweat, then you put your aromatics immediately after. You add the fat. If you're not, then you just let the fat start to melt. Duck fat is just an amazing flavor. Adds an amazing flavor. Oh, and that smell. Oh my goodness. You want to incorporate all of, or get it all coated in the fat, and let it reduce down. Now, those of you who have done this before, you know that, that whole bowl of spinach will reduce down to like a small bowl of sauteed spinach. And we're going to be adding this to the polenta. So now you saw me already salt the grits, so be very judicious. Spinach still needs some seasoning, but be very, very light on it because I've already seasoned the grits. So we will put this aside for a little bit later. Put the heat back on it. And now let's do the mushrooms. We may have to add a, matter of fact, I am going to add a little bit of butter, just a little bit more fat. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. Spread that out. And let's get the mushrooms in there. Now I've diced way too many mushrooms, too much of it for this application. Again, this is a cup of grits. This, with the spinach, should just about do it. Get this good and coated in the fat, and then just leave them alone. All right. These look done. So I am going to reserve them on the side here. Okay, so now you can see that the butter has melted. We're going to add the mushroom. Add the spinach. And then just mix it all up. And this is what it ends up, ooh, wait a minute, oh, and this is what the end result looks like. For those of us who've never poached eggs before, I would recommend at least 2 or 3 times that we do it the traditional way, you know, in lightly boiling water, a little bit of vinegar, you toss the raw egg in, you start to herd it kind of like cats, trying to put it all in a little, you know, so that it cooks together. Incredibly frustrating, but rewarding once you get it down endeavor. Once you've done it successfully 2 or 3 times, never do it that way again. Simply invest in some sort of egg poacher. And, you know, that will make room for a little more joy in your life. So what we've done is we've added the spinach and the mushrooms into the polenta set aside. We are now going to finish it. We've got the mole on the side that we'll have to warm up again and add a little bit of water just to get it to the consistency we want. And then you time the eggs and the shrimp to come together at the same time. So while these are cooking, let's start to plate our meal. Put a little bit of the polenta in the bottom of the bowl. Not a whole heck of a lot, but you don't want to fill the bowl. Remember, you've got a lot of different elements going in here. So that will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And it's really, the shrimp is going to be it's going to be about 2 minutes per side, and then they should be done. And again, you're going to want to, I'll show you. You're going to want to have a little bit of translucency in the center of the shrimp. Ooh, that smell too. Love it. See, and this has got such a nice, lovely color to it. And while these things are finishing up, I'm going to get the mole ready. You don't want to overcook either one of these elements. You want that rich yolk to be able to permeate through the grits. You want to have, you don't want the shrimp to be really tough. All right. Let's put these bad boys together. And here is what the end product looks like. So to recap, our grits are, to make grits, it's the ratio is 3 to 1. 3 parts liquid to 1 part grits. You're going to get the water up to a boil, or whatever liquid is up to a boil. Add the grits. Stirring occasionally for about 5 minutes and then setting aside. I would add a little butter and salt and pepper to it as you're reserving it. Also going into the grits is mushrooms and spinach. Spinach was sauteed in a little bit of duck fat. The mushrooms were sauteed in the remainder of the duck fat, a little bit of butter and garlic. So that's your base. You're going to poach a couple eggs per bowl. And then add 2 or 3 shrimp. The shrimp was salt peppered with a little bit of, in this case, Emerald's essence blend. You want to get your pan up really high so that when you sear, you're not spending a heck of a lot of time doing that. And you want a little bit of translucency in the middle of the shrimp. You also want to make sure that your poached eggs have still got the yolk nice and yummy and runny. At the very end, you add the mole sauce. You put it a little bit against the white background of the eggs, and that's it. It's beautiful, and it's still steaming if you time it perfectly. Yeah. This is a privilege for me to be able to share one of my passions with you. Thank you for letting me do that. And as always, thanks for watching.